All right. I'm going to show you the fastest and easiest way to improve your speaking skills and improve your fluency and also your pronunciation as well, using language islands, obviously. And I talk a lot about language islands. And in this video, I'm going to show you in detail how to create them because a lot of you keep asking me about it, that you're not really sure what to write about, what should your language islands look like, when is enough, are they good, are they not? And what a lot of you end up doing is writing really long sentences like this one. Let's say, and I'm sure this is not your case, but a lot of my viewers and clients are people, English speakers from the US or the UK who live in or want to live in Latin America. So probably some of you are, yeah, US citizens moving to Latin America. Anyway, if you're not, you can just change the. I'm sure you're not from Nashville, Tennessee. Anyway, um, a lot of you write really lengthy sentences like this, and it makes sense because you speak like this. Right? I always tell you to write the way you speak. So yeah, I'm originally from this place, but now I live here because blah 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 blah, and life's so much better here, and the US and especially where I come from is shit because blah blah blah. And that's what you say, like in the first 5 minutes when you are talking about why you live there and where you're from and all that. You end up talking about that. So high frequency sentences. But if it's really long, and it's got commas and buts and because and ands, and basically the longer it gets and the more complicated it gets, the more complex, the harder it's going to be to learn. Especially with, I mean, shadowing is gonna get hard as well, but especially for retrieval practice at first, it's going to be like this, translating this mentally and verbally into Spanish is going to be a nightmare unless your level is already like an intermediate or something. So by all means, just go on and write a bunch of stuff like this and write your whole like long stories about whatever. Write loads, but you need to be able to walk, crawl, and then walk and finally run. Right? You can't just run from day one. You need to start with easier sentences. So what I recommend you do is yeah, go write all your language islands with everything you want to be able to say and use long sentences. It's if that's the way you speak, just then do it like that. But then break them down into smaller bits, like smaller chunks like this. So we've got. I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee. Is that how you pronounce it? I've never been there. Or really had it in real life. Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah. I have lived in Panama since 2022. Life's way better here. So it's sentence one, sentence two, sentence three. Yeah, comma. No, not the comma this time. But and because how we cut the sentence in different parts. So we get this. So just with this, let's say you write your 1,000 language island sentences, and they all look more or less like this. Well, a lot of them, at least, not all of them. Some of them will be like, "Hi, how you doing?" Okay, but there'll be a lot of them that will look like this or even longer. I've got people writing, I've got clients write extremely long sentences, which is good. Eventually, you'll be able to say those things. If that's the way you speak, you should learn to speak like that in the target language as well. And if you listen to those sentences hundreds of times and you shadow them hundreds of times, eventually within our reps, you'll be able to say them. But it's going to be easier if you first blend them in chunks. So we do this. So now we've got 4 sentences out of 1. Instead of 1, we've got 4. You do it with the whole document of sentences you've got, and you will have a lot more sentences already. And the shorter they are, the easier they'll be to learn, and also the more flexible they are, and the more useful. Flexible is useful. The more flexible a sentence is, the more likely you are to be able to use it because you'll find the right context. But it gets better because now we have this, and what we're going to do is this. We take these three sentences and we develop them into as many sentences as possible. And what we'll do is create sentences that are more or less the same thing in many different ways. So I'm original from Nashville, Tennessee becomes I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, but also I'm from Nashville, Tennessee in the US. I'm from Tennessee in the United States. I'm from the United States. Are you from the United States? I'm American. You could say I'm from America. Come from Tennessee, the United States. Yeah, I come from instead of I am from. I was born in. Maybe you were born somewhere else, so that's also a topic for even more sentences. But I live in Panama now. I live in Panama since I have lived. Yeah, yeah, I guess. I moved to Panama in 2022. I decided to move to Panama 2022. We live in here since blah blah blah. We live in here for 2 years. I moved here 2 years ago. Yeah, I moved here in whatever year. I moved here whatever years ago. It's just different ways of saying exactly the same thing or very similar things or adding things like. But I prefer living here like that. But or because you write the sentence with the but and because or without. So you have I've lived in Panama since 2022, but also but I have lived in Panama. Oh, and I have lived in Panama since. Just as many variations as possible. It's a very good exercise. Just creating the lines because well, this is what you get by doing this. Once you've got massive amounts of sentences, and you don't have to write the whole thing in a single day. You just keep doing it with more and more sentences that you already have. But by doing this, I don't think I'm glad I made that decision when I moved here. I would never go back. I don't think I'll ever go back. You're not going to. This is not a script. You're not going to say this all in conversation, like one sentence after another. That'd be ridiculous. Now, what we need is to have hundreds and then thousands of flexible and useful sentences that are easy to learn and easy to use. So then you can use a lot of them. Later on, once you know enough of the language, you can learn full islands, which have 5 to 10 sentences, or maybe like 20, 30 sentences. That you say it in the same order, like a script. I learned Russian when I lived in Berlin because I lived in East Berlin, and a lot of people from the former Soviet Union lived there, and so my neighbors were from Russia, and I ended up speaking Russian with them, and and that's something that I learned in the same order, and I can say it in 20 languages. But to get there, first you need to be able to learn all those sentences in isolation. So you do this, and then this will give you like trying to taking one sentence and trying to write as many uh, variations as possible with small details that you change will also give you ideas. So I decided to move to Panama because life's better here, and then life's better here because, and then because whatever, food's better, uh, life's less stressful. You write a list, and then with each one of them, people are nicer, like women look better. Uh, I mean, seriously, like, that's why most people move to Latin America. I'm not gonna pretend that's not why they move there. Um, so yeah, basically, you write a whole list of reasons uh, why you moved from the US to Latin America or whatever. Like you find things to attach to whatever you're talking about, and then you develop those. So now for each one of the reasons, like food's way better here because, and then different ways to say food in Panama is better than in US. Food in Panama is way better than back at home, or like whatever. You come up with a bunch of things about that, and then the next one is like because in the US food's really bad, blah blah blah, and then you. So let's do it because You know, like foods much better in Panama than in the US. I've never been to the Panama or the US, so I wouldn't be able to tell. But that's what I hear from Americans. In Latin America and in Europe, food's much better. That's what I hear. Anyway, uh, so then you write like five variations of this or similar sentences. Latin American food is much better than in the US. Food in Latin America is much better than in the US. Blah blah blah, and then the food in the US is very uh, unhealthy. Use more vocab as well. You could do, and you can just copy and paste. So then you create. And I'm not saying this is just stuff I hear from Americans, right? I'm not saying it's the case. It's just an example. The food in the US is very unhealthy. The food in the US is awful. Blah 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 blah. Blah. Bunch of different ways of saying it. And now we this and so we've got short sentences, and then we combine them and create a longer sentence. And you can also create more variations. The food in the UFC, in the US, is very unhealthy, and then American food has a lot of chemicals. And then you take this one. Food in the US is very unhealthy because, and it has a lot of chemicals. You see, and you just keep expanding, and you take each one of them. And what else did I say? Why is Panama better than the US? Like, taxes are lower, and then you long rant about like lots and lots of sentences about American economy, taxes, this and that, and then you first like short sentences, and then you put them together, like associate like this X because Y or X therefore Y, so that then you have short sentences to learn, and then right after you learn a much longer one that combines both. So it's easy to learn because you already know the grammar and the vocab there. Yeah. The nice thing of this is that it's lots and lots and lots of sentences, but the grammar and the vocabulary keep repeating themselves, so it's very easy to learn. Yeah. So again, try this. Go to the language islands. I'm going to upload a full-on, like a long tutorial on how to do this with lots and lots of examples to the language islands section of the NLL course. And also, I'm creating a massive list of these kind of sentences for myself for Japanese. I already had a massive list, but now it's getting way bigger, and that's going to be available as well soon. I'm not done yet with it, but and also in the community you can share your own islands and ask for feedback or help if you need help with creating audio files and so on. Yeah. So my advice is to first write the what you speak, ideally over 1,000 sentences, like long, some of them, and then take them and develop from them, like lots of different ways of saying everything, and combine them in as many combinations as possible. And then you know the drill: shadowing, retrieval practice, active recall, flashcards, lots and lots of reps, lots of listening and repeating. And once you know everything, which will take a few hours, but it'll be way faster than just listening to random stuff or watching YouTube videos. I think in 100 hours or even less, you can learn thousands and thousands of sentences like this, and this will make you fluent, really fluent, if you learn enough of them. Anyway, any questions? Let me know.